All right, we are back. I'm going to give you a quick update on everything we've been working at this week and what I've been working at for MaidThis franchise. Now, I've a couple main focuses for this week, which, by the way, I kind of hate that phrase, a couple main focuses. The truth is there's probably just one main priority you should be working on. But the reality of this is like there's so many moving pieces and you're kind of like spinning plates and making sure everyone has information they need. So this week, my main focus was twofold. One, we have a new cohort launching with a bunch of new franchisees, which is going to be awesome. We have about 3 to 4 new people joining. And it's really for me just kind of coordinating timing for when these new people are going to start training. Typically the way our process works is we have like 2 to 3 weeks of pre-training where there's a lot of tech setup, back-end stuff. New franchisees learn all the information up front, and then we get into live training, which is virtual. So we have a dedicated coach who walks them through different pieces of the process, does mock calls, those mock cleaner calls. They'll start actually posting job ads for cleaners. And then we go to the next phase, which is the actual launch lab. That's the grand launch of them putting money in, getting jobs, all that kind of good stuff. And this week is actually me doing a lot of the final CEO calls with prospects. So I have a team of, I have Len, who's been with me for 10 years. He's a franchise consultant. He actually lives in South Africa. I've visited him a couple times. He's awesome. He's been worked for the LA company, now works for us on the franchise side. He guides people through the process. So him and someone else on my team named Genevieve guide people through the process. Then we have Jeff, who is LA based and working with us for over a year now. I've known him for multiple years. Join the system and he helps guide people through the process as well. Our like sales process for new franchise prospects is quite different because it's not really a sales process, it's like a disqualification process. So we've probably had about 4,000 people apply for franchising, if not more at this point, with about 40 locations. You know, some of that, of course, is like people are like not in country, they're just not a good fit for whatever reason, but a lot of them like we just rejected. The main things I look for with new prospects is threefold. One, do they have the hustle gene? If they don't have the hustle gene, the team knows now, like don't even let them get to the point where Neil has to talk to them, because if they don't got it, they don't got it, right? This isn't buying a job. Some people want to get into franchising because they want to buy a job. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for someone who has always wanted to be an entrepreneur, maybe has dabbled a little bit, but they've never built $1 million business. They want that and they're hungry. If someone's scared because they lost a job and they want more security, that's not exactly the fit. I think entrepreneurship is less risky than having a job, right? So there is the aspect of that. But hustle gene is one thing to look for. The next one would be, do they have the right expectations? So a large part of my calls with them and my team's calls is like, what is your expectation when it comes to franchising? Why are you doing this? Like, what's your actual why? And if people are like, oh, I just want to add this to my portfolio, I was interested in it, I'll see how it works, that's automatic disqualification. Don't want people like that. Kind of want people who are all in, who know they want this, who want to grow. Maybe they're a little bit scared, but that's why they're joining us. They have the system they want to grow faster, with more surety, with less risk, all that kind of good stuff. So we're looking for proper expectations. And it's funny, like I actually get on a call with a lot of doctors who are just burnt out. I'll get on calls to them and I'll say, cool, like what's your expectation? They're like, oh, I want to replace my income in 1 year. And I want to do this on the side until I could do that. I'm like, okay, what's your income? I'm like, okay, I make $400,000. I'm like, so you want to make $400,000 in profit in the first year as a side hustle, and you can't work until after hours because you're working at the hospital? Like, yes. Like, okay, cool. I don't think it's going to be a fit for you. Maybe there's something else. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to be a fit for you. The large part is expectation setting of like, dude, how long is this actually going to take in reality? You know? And for most people, I try to like push them away. I say, hey, this is going to be twice as hard as you think, and you're going to make less money than anything in the first year. Are you cool with that? And if they're cool with that, after going through a lot of the modules and systems and talk to us for a couple of months, amazing. We're off to the races. The last thing I look for is, would I have a beer with this person or not? If I would not have a beer with you, I would not sell you a franchise. Beer, non-alcoholic beverage, whatever you want. But the truth is like life is too short to work with people you don't like. I'm not here. None of us are here to be like, hey, let's take your money and congrats, join the system, and we all hate each other. That would suck, right? The reason you're getting entrepreneurship, the reason I started this business is I want to work with people I like. And I'm sure it's the same for you if you're considering entrepreneurship and business ownership. Is maybe like you won't be the best friends with everyone, but you have to respect people who have the same values. So that's a big part about what we're looking for. So this week I spent time on the final CEO call, which is the final call with me to qualify people to get them across the finish line and start joining our next cohort, which launches in a couple weeks. So I've had about 3 of those this week of the final calls and getting people properly qualified, and we have a kick-ass cohort starting soon. So that was just like CEO duties, got to qualify people, make sure they're the right fit. I disqualified a couple of people as well. So that's just kind of part of the duties of a week-to-week basis. But we are getting to the phase of the next cohort, which is why this is critical for me right now. The next bit, which is, to be honest, going to be my update for the next quarter, is my number one priority, not my number one, my only priority right now is getting the Launch Lab set up. Launch Lab, we have a really good grand launch program, but I think it could be improved always. And we're vetting brand new vendors. And we did this a year ago. We're redoing it again with new vendors of people who can help franchisees launch faster. So we're doing this through what's called a honeypot initiative, where we go to a vendor, say, hey, I'm going to test you in 3 different markets. I'm going to give the franchisee money to test you. And they put up some money. We put up some money to test you out. Let's see how you do. And these are all people pre-vetted. And during this beta phase, I'm heavily involved. My team's heavily involved because I need to tell the vendors what we know. So for example, we're working with a new AdWords vendor. We're testing in 3 different markets. So the AdWords vendor's like, oh, cool, I got everything set up. Amazing. And this week I hopped on a call with them and I said, hey, based off of what I know about AdWords, and I don't know much, you guys are the experts, but we've tried to run in the past. Here's the data. Here's what I think you should consider. Here's the cost per acquisition you should consider. So I'm kind of driving it because I want them to do well. And if I have insider knowledge, I let them know. I wouldn't do this all the time, but like my background is marketing. I love marketing, and I have Arashi on my team who's a whiz on marketing. So we met with the vendors, told them exactly what we're looking for. We helped spin up landing pages for the franchisees to optimize it, all that kind of stuff. And this week, today actually, franchisees will launch with their AdWords for the vendors for those 3 different markets. So that was a large focus of my week, is getting that properly set up. Look, my philosophy is this, like if there's one bottleneck or constraint or priority, I want to devote outsized time to that. 75% of my time should be on that. It doesn't always happen that way, but the truth is like franchisee success, like we are building a company which is franchisee first. And that means all the constraints have to be around how do we get franchisees to grow faster and be more profitable faster. That's kind of what we're solving for here, right? Happiness and performance. And the big part of that is how do we get people launched faster? How do we get new vendors? So people never say, man, I don't have enough leads. I never want people to ever say that. There's like a seesaw at the beginning, right? Because at the beginning, you might not have a lot of leads because you're just starting. But we want a way where it's like, it's unfair. Like I want MaidThis to be freaking unfair. When I launched for my business 12 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. Most people who launch a business by themselves don't know what they're doing. They're like, oh, I guess I'll do AdWords. I guess I'll do LSA. I signed up for this course. They told me to do X, Y, and Z, which realize everyone's doing the exact same thing. So you need something, maybe not proprietary, but you need dedicated vendors. Like the benefit of what we're building here is the vendors we end up working with, they have the copy. They know it's worked with other markets. They know the offer. They know how it works with the franchise system. Things are centralized through us. It just moves a lot faster. And that's what I like. That's what I'm trying to build. So we're vetting. We have 1 approved vendor. We already vet through Honeypot for Meta, launched with franchisees, wildly successful. We're testing 1 more AdWords vendor. And what I was setting up this week as well is for speed, I test a lot of stuff in my LA market. So currently I'm devoting about $10,000 in marketing per month on my LA market, coming from my Los Angeles funds. It's not even franchise funds, just to test stuff. So the budget I set up for this week, we're probably going to spend about $600 to $1,000 on SEO. Let's say $1,000. We'll spend about $1,000 on Meta. We'll spend about $4,000 to $5,000 on Google local service ads. We'll spend about $3,000 to $3,500 on AdWords. This is the current budget. So it comes out to around 10 grand that we're spending in my Los Angeles location to test stuff. I already know SEO works. I already know LSA works. So that's just kind of maintenance stuff. But really, I'm testing another vendor that's franchise focused for AdWords and Meta. This is different from the one my franchisees are testing. The benefit is because I control the LA market, I could test stuff there as well and have my sales team on it. The thing is, when franchise systems, I believe, spreading it out and testing stuff in other markets along with our money makes things move faster. And what I want to buy is speed. So I could test everything in my LA market, but then I could only test 1 thing at a time. Versus right now, I could test 2 different vendors in 4 different markets in 1 month. It's just unfair. So I'm spending my time right now testing that 1 vendor who is vying to become a preferred vendor with us. I'm testing in my LA market, and on the franchise side, we're testing another vendor. The goal would be in about a month, we know exactly if these guys are crushing out on AdWords or not, and what the ROI is, what the CPA is, what the CPL is, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my main focus for this week. That's mostly what I'm working on. And yeah, it's taking up a lot of my time. And what's interesting and a little bit unique, and I'm getting acclimated to it, is I'm currently in Rwanda right now. See the view over here? That's Rwanda. I'm in East Africa. This is my 3rd time in Rwanda. Like I love coming here. I've been to 60 different countries. I backpacked for 5 years while building MaidThis. And to be honest, Rwanda, it's got to be like I think my favorite country. Put it like Rwanda, maybe Thailand. After that, I love Thailand. And, other places in the world, these got to be my favorite country. Back here for another couple months. The hard part, I guess, is time zones. A lot of my work ends up being at nighttime. So my calls start at like 4 or 5 p.m. here, end at like 9 or 10. It's not crazy, but at the same time, your brain's kind of wired going to sleep. But it is what it is. I think the beauty of this business model and what I'm doing is it can be remote. We have franchisees who are in RVs working, and they're they left their city and they're working now. I think this happens after some time. At the beginning, you got to be in your city, but over time, like, shoot, I would love to have made this live in Rwanda. I don't know how many people would actually come to Rwanda, but I'm thoroughly enjoying being here. Cool part is I could also work on my business during the day when no one's bugging me because I have no meetings, nothing's going on, and get kind of real system work done. And then at nighttime, I could just do my meetings. That's my structure for this week. Catch you next week.